This is Daryl Evans with Kings Vision at LAKings.com with Kings insider John Rosen. Big game tonight, Game 5 of the series, back here in St. Louis after the Kings winning both games on home ice. A little bit of a change of momentum in the series. As I see it, the Kings now kind of take charge again. Even though the Blues still have the home ice advantage, I think what the Kings accomplished the last couple of games in Los Angeles really put a question mark in the Blues. In fact, a response from Blues head coach Ken Hitchcock, he says they really didn't have an answer for the way the Kings came out and took charge of that game.
Yeah, it's certainly a different vibe around the rink than from the last time that we were here. Oftentimes, the cliche that's used is that a playoff series hasn't began until the home team has lost a game. And here we are. It's now all of a sudden a best-of-3 series. This series is tied up 2-2. Something that I really liked from Game 4 was that I thought that was actually the Kings' tightest defensive performance of the series. Even though they allowed 3 goals, one was off of a flukish bounce off the backboards. There were some very lively boards at Staples Center the other night. One was off a power play deflection, and one was off an odd angle rebound shortly after the Kings had really hemmed the Blues back in their own zone. The Kings gave up only 22 shots in that game. The Blues did not have many odd man rushes. All the odd man rushes, the 3s-on-2s, the 2-on-1s, the breakaway goal by Jeff Carter, they were all in the Kings' favor from a defensive performance. Even though that was a game with 7 goals scored, I was encouraged by what I saw from the LA Kings.
I think what the Kings did was they managed the puck better in the defensive zone on a couple of occasions that led to goals, some good chips along the boards in the defensive zone. And then the Kings were able to generate speed going through the neutral zone. They created outnumbered attacks. Ken Hitchcock felt that his defense were a little bit too aggressive. He said when the game was 2-0, he said his team tried to step and go for the juggler right off the bat. He said they should have been playing with a little bit more patience, but a credit to the Kings. I think the Kings, recognizing where they were, trailing by a couple of goals, they knew they needed to get the game's next goal. They're able to do that, tie things up. They did fall behind again, but this is where the experience really paid off over 60 minutes and in the third period, especially when the Kings scored the 2 quick goals. I thought they took complete charge of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, something that I really liked in that third period, by the time the Blues had their first shot of that third period, the Kings had already taken 6 shots and scored twice. And you look at the end of the game, the Blues didn't have a shot on goal over the final 2.5 minutes. For the second consecutive game at home, LA able to withstand that pressure late in the game when St. Louis had pulled Brian Elliott. They're going to be looking for another similar effort here this evening. Hopefully, as you mentioned, that control of the puck, that puck possession, the ability to push the play is what keeps the puck out of the hands of the St. Louis Blues and allows the Kings to use their possession, their offensive game, to play some strong defense.
And when you look at this series, one of the more physical series of all the playoff rounds so far, I think when you get to this stage of a series, Game 5 now, I think the discipline factor really has to pay in. You don't really want to be taking any unnecessary penalties. I think all the skirmishes after the whistle, I think they start to dissipate a little bit more. You still want to maintain that aggressive edge, and I know that the Blues tonight, they're going to reunite that fourth line of theirs. It was so very good, especially in Game 1. But in saying that, I think it's maybe a little bit of a reaction to maybe feeling that the Kings dominated them in the games in Los Angeles, in particular the last one. They feel that they have to push back. Is it the right answer?
You know, I think it's a good move for the St. Louis Blues. I thought that line, the Cracknell, Porter, Reeves line in the first 2 games was among the best lines from any team on the ice. Ryan Reeves, several outstanding hits throughout this series so far. They got away a little bit, of course, Vladimir Tarasenko, though he has a lot of skill. He scored twice in a game against the LA Kings back in this building in March. I still think that St. Louis Blues bread and butter is the fact that they can roll all 4 of those lines, and they know what they're going to be getting from that fourth line, that Ryan Reeves line, and that they're going to be very physical. They're going to be able to go out and forecheck. Spoke earlier today with Jaden Schwartz. He still thinks that 200-foot game from the St. Louis Blues is excellent. I think it's at its best when Adam Cracknell is back in the lineup as well. But boy, Ryan Reeves, he can hit. Kings will still have a huge challenge on their hands this evening of being able to, as you said, continue that physical play, avoid the skirmishes, avoid the post-whistle scrums, not get dinged for any retaliation penalties.
Well, as we saw the Blues take to the ice prior to the Kings skate here today, David Backes did not take to the ice, figuring that the Blues didn't skate yesterday. It was a travel day. He's got to be banged up. Everybody's assuming he's going to be back in the lineup. This is a great stage for Game 5 of the series, a pivotal game. The team that wins obviously takes a 3-2 lead with a chance to close out at Staples Center on Friday night. For John Rosen, I'm Daryl Evans for Kings Vision at LAKings.com.